Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
What's going on, everyone? Salute. WCS in the building once again. Shout out to the supporters all day, every day. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. And appreciate y'all pulling up. Hit the like button if you're on deck. Let's get down to it, man. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 28. We have Faria versus Starling. This went down in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Rio Rancho Event Center. Okay? Hosted on Fight TV. Just a little bit of info for those of you that may not have an interest in bare knuckle fighting. It is still in its growth stages, but it's came a long way since Cheyenne, Wyoming. It came a long way, shouty. And depending on who you followed in boxing and MMA or kickboxing, you might see some of your fighters knuckling up over there bare knuckle fighting. Now, of course, BKFC has just came on the scene, in the last several years, but bare knuckle fighting been around for ages. Just a little bit about the format of BKFC. The fighters contend with no protection over their knuckle properties. All right, that means their wrist is wrapped and the hand wrap goes up to, I believe, an inch from the knuckle properties. The knuckles are exposed. There's no hand protection. At no point in time there are gloves or any of that. It is bare knuckle fighting. All right. Also, fighters contend 5 rounds, 2 minutes apiece, which differentiate from boxing, which is 3 minutes per round. Bare knuckle fighting is 2 minutes per round. Why? Because a lot can happen if it was 1 more minute. You know what I'm saying? This is a brutal, bloody sport. I think 2 minutes is feasible for these fighters to go ahead and compete. And you still see carnage. Real talk. Still there's carnage, right? So the referee will call the fighters to the center line, which is a line on each side. The fighters place their lead toe. It's called toeing the line. Place their lead toe up on the line. And then the referee give the command knuckle up. At that point in time, the fighters are given the command to fight. You are free to fight, swing away, beat your opponent up. The best method, how. So outside of the records, we're not really talking about records in bare knuckle fighting. This is one of those organizations or sports where, records really don't mean too much at the end of the day. It's more so the durability of a fighter. It's more so the entertainment value of a fighter, because you have to be durable to compete in bare knuckle fighting. You have to be durable, man. Now you're saying to yourself, yeah, you're talking about bones to skin, bone to bone skin. The skin will break sooner or later when bone connects with bone, right? Correct. You're absolutely right. That's why you have to know how to punch your opponent. And, you have to also know how to be defensively vigilant in bare knuckle, else you will get bloodied up quick. And a fight just doesn't end, by going to the scorecards. It can end via knockout, or it can end via a cut. The type of cuts that you see in bare knuckle fighting is quite different in boxing. What you may witness in bare knuckle fighting may somehow get a boxing match stopped. All right. So we had these two ladies in the main event. Okay. Christine Faria, the Misfit, to your left, and Taylor Starling to the right. The reason why I'm speaking on this, because I rock with Christine Faria. She's that fighter. Real talk. She's that fighter. She is fought mixed martial arts, kickboxing. She is an all-around pugilist, man. She is an all-around pugilist. She take the sport serious, even though she may be a older fighter. Man, she definitely take the sport serious enough to get in there and go from trainers and continue to add to her cachet. She is a beast, man. That's why her name's the Misfit. She ain't trying to fit in with nobody, especially when those hands get to talking. They definitely not trying to be your friend. She's beat some of the best names in bare knuckle. She's been in there with some of the top names. Most recently, before Taylor Starling, she fought Britain Hart. Shout out to Britain Hart. Hey, good person, man. Britain Hart is cool. Taylor Starling, cool people. You know what I'm saying? I had the opportunity to cover her, when she was boxing. She was an okay boxer. You know what I'm saying? Nothing special. She was trying to find her way, this, that, and the other. But last night, she finally earned her opportunity to step in the main event, y'all. The main event on TV. Not having been in the main event before, you know what I'm saying? Not having really given the opportunity to fight for a championship. She finally gets that stage light. That stage light was bright. She's stepping in there with the current reigning and defending, you know what I'm saying, flyweight champion, dog. The Misfit. And I'm saying to myself, we actually talking. It's like, okay, is Taylor up for the task? Is Taylor up for this freaking tactical onslaught that she's gonna have to put on Misfit? Is she up to it? And look, when media give critique of fighters, man, sometimes fighters they get punched in the head. They feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? They might feel like, who are they to talk? They're not in. You're right. But that doesn't mean without two eyes, you know what I'm saying? And us assessing your fight career, we cannot derive an opinion. And I said that I didn't think Taylor Starling was ready for the Misfit. I didn't think she was experienced. The Misfit is levels, levels above Taylor Starling when it comes to the experience that she's been able to um answer the bell for in her career. It's levels. It's levels, bro. Man, Misfit been in there with the big name. She's been through the fire. You know, she's defeated a UFC mixed martial artist in Rachel Ostovich before, but they didn't call her to the UFC. They called Rachel Ostovich there. You know what I'm saying? It's just been time after time where people was curious on what Faria would have done if she would have got the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? To compete in a sport like, you know, on a platform of promotion like the UFC, being that she do have experience with mixed martial arts. But in bare knuckle fighting, this seems to be her driver's seat. This seemed to be her wheelhouse. And you know, the lead up and everything, the promo, the weigh-in went the way, you know, we pretty much predicted. They was jarring back and forth. And I was saying to myself, they used to be cool. Now they ain't. But Faria's been here before. Taylor hasn't. Just because you stepped in the ring and fought, you know, bare knuckle doesn't mean you have been under the bright lights like Christine Faria. And, you know, I just said, I wonder if Taylor's really up. I wonder if Killer B is really up for what's about to happen. So, you know, they finally make it to the ring in the main event, you know. And I don't know, it's just some when I was looking at Killer B, Starling, she didn't look like she was phased in anything. I you know, it didn't look like she was scared in any way, shape, or form. But once that bell ring, it gets a little bit different. So the referee said, knuckle up. So, you know, both fighters postured, whatever. Taylor started to, you know, walk towards Christian Faria, and she was able to land a successful 1-2. You know, Faria, you know, went back to the ropes. She wasn't hurt. She just, you know, went back to the ropes. And when she came out, when she released herself from the ropes, when the momentum of her bouncing off the ropes took her right back to the doorstep of Taylor Starling, she commenced to beating the Brembo dust off Taylor Starling. Her hand speed was very, very swift, strict, and authoritative, man. She touched Taylor up with like an 8 to 10 piece combination. Taylor could not recover. She was trying to hold on. Man, for real, wasn't having any of that shit. I mean, she was pop, 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 pop. It was like popcorn in a microwave. Pop, 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 pop. Taylor goes down. Instead of Taylor getting up and looking at the referee, she's out there talking to her corner. So I can't. I mean, her face during that time is totally changed in that flurry of punches. It's totally a change. It's totally changed, man. You know, she's talking to her corner. And she's like, I can't. And you know, she pretty much said she quit. You know, and she seemed like she was balling out, looking through the ropes at her corner. I don't know what was going on. You know, I knew it was the punches, but I don't know if it was anything extra that she had going on before the fight. No, we cannot even include that. But she was crying and she was telling her, I can't, man, I quit. So she happened to stand up, and Dan came over there, the referee, Dan Mergliotta, and she turned around and said, are you good? You going to continue? So I guess she made a haste decision to say, you know, I'm going to continue the fight. Boom. Fight continues. Faria comes in there. Popcorn. Pop, 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 pop. Taylor turned her back and put her hand up and just verbally submitted. You know what I'm saying? She quit. She quit. 47 seconds. It took Christine Ferrer to demolish Killer B moment of stardom. Now, I don't know if Killer B can ever in a sport like that, because bare knuckle fighting is a tough sport, man. It's blood. You know, you hear people say blood, sweat, and tears. That sport right there is really demanding of, you know, a person's recovery and their training on how they're training, because you have to know how to place your punches, you know, so you won't break your wrists, your knuckles. You know what I'm saying? You have to really educate yourself. But she tatted Taylor Starling so bad in the worst way. She did her dirty. I don't know if she'll ever be able to recover if she continues to compete in bare knuckle fighting. I don't know. I don't know if David Feldman will offer her opportunity like that again. I don't know, man. It's hard to say with these promotions like that. I mean, I don't know their thought process. Like I say, the UFC, when the fighters get knocked out and those fighters was champions, they allow those individuals to be able to step back in the cage and get another opportunity to win their belt back. I love it. I'm not sure if Killer B will have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I wish her none but the best. But she did get blitzed in there by a very experienced, well-versed combat specialist. I can say that. She got decimated in 47 seconds and she quit. It does something to combat sports fans when a person quit. When you put your hand up and you just walk away like, you know, you're a fighter, you're a professional fighter, and you just put your hand up and walk away. So when they spoke to Taylor after the fight, they wanted to know what exactly happened. You know, what was going on in her mindset. Why did you quit the way you did? She say she was too much. Pretty, you know what I'm saying? She was too strong. You know, she has power to them hands, and it was too much for Taylor to handle, dealing with Ferrer's skill set and her and the damage that she was going to inflict. Now this wasn't even outside the first round. So can you imagine trying to go with Taylor's mindset out of the first to get out the first round into the second after what she experienced, and she's unsure if she's willing to continue? Ferrer beat her down in 47 seconds. May not seem much, but when you don't have gloves on your hand and you're putting together the punch combinations like Christine Ferrer, oh, it was bad. But in the end, Ferrer, being the sportsman she is, she was very professional. You know what I'm saying? She didn't taunt Taylor, you know, outside of what happened at the weigh-ins. You know, things got a little bit physical, forehead to forehead, you know, type of behavior, you know, the usual belligerence. But she was a sportsman. You know what I'm saying? She was talking to Killer B. I don't know what she told her, but she might have told her those fighting words of encouragement to say, hey, don't let this stop your career. Go in there and work harder. Let it be an experience for you, and then come back to fight another day. You know what I'm saying? The hymn, the scripture, you know how it is for fighters. But shout out to Christine Ferrer, man. She did a damn thing. Very, very tough. I mean, she's a beast, man. And when I seen that Taylor was, you know, was going to get the shot, I really said to myself, she doesn't have the experience to go in there and defeat somebody like Christine Ferrer. There's no way. There's no way. It looks good on paper. It looks good on the flyers and everything else, but she just didn't have the experience at all. So, but shout out to those ladies going in there in the main event in bare knuckle fighting, getting that in. Shout out to them. Teach on deck, what's good? Salute WCS, what's going on? Balash, what's good? Yo, what's up, my guy? What's good with you? So on to my next topic, right? If you didn't know, if you haven't seen, Terrence Crawford is, have videos out of him training. It's not like he's just started this training regime. It's just how he gets down. That's just how he stays focused. That's how he stay locked in. You know what I'm saying? He's always in the gym. It's videos out of Terrence Crawford, in these workouts. And I just want to show you, one of them, of him working out, of course. And let me share screen. And shout out to Team Crawford, man. I tell people all the time, I just save it to after. I'll save it to after this video. But check this out, though. So you see the work ethic of the pound for pound best Terrence Bud Crawford. You see the work ethic. This guy doesn't have to be motivated much. He has self-motivation. He doesn't need exterior motivation of people just say, hey, and he has multiple trainers too. So, he's all about getting different looks from different trainers, which is great. But this workout, that just goes to show you, man, Bud Crawford is on levels above Errol Spence when it comes to working out, period. He's levels above, man. He does this on a regularity, man. This is not just to get in shape for fight camp. This is what he's used to doing on a regularity. He stay in shape, man, and stay healthy. Look at the guy next to him, man. His facial expression says it all. Like, he's trying to keep up. This is very intense, man. The rigors of this training regime that's going on. And this is not the only video. You know what I'm saying? This is not the only video. But it's just a preamble, as always, to give, those Spencerholics a taste of what he has to deal with. See, they just only looking at it like it's going to come down to fight night and Spence, answer the bell and start, coming forward like he always do. You know what I'm saying? Unleashing a barrage of punches. And that's all it's going to take. Constant pressure, constant pressure. That's the narrative that they're going with right now. Constant pressure, constant pressure. It's going to take more than that at the end of the day. Like I told y'all, it's going to demand more than just constant pressure and throwing punches into the wind, in the area where you see a silhouette. It's going to take much more than that. Seriously. And, be sure to follow Terrence Bud Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Be sure to follow him so you can kind of read, all the credentials that he has up here, the accolades, just so you know. Let's talk about Errol Spence Jr., man. First of all, with Errol Spence on this day, I just want to ask who basically told you that the big fish was cool. Because a lot of people look at fish as being a dish. You know what I'm saying? An item that is fit for human consumption or that of its own kind. But who told you that the big fish was a delightful term to use to signify what you're trying to convince the people you are? Like, what does big fish mean exactly? Was megalodon, too long of a word to put on your cap? I mean, what does big fish means? I don't know what big fish means. Like Chael Sonnen, I need information when it comes to boxing, because boxing is a sport where you have two combat specialists, pugilists, competing with the soles of their feet on the canvas. Now, listen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it hasn't been too many times that I've seen fish. If you toss them on a boxing canvas, right, and ring the bell, I really don't think you're gonna get what you think you are. You're not gonna have any type of one-on-one type of combat. They're just gonna be flopping around. They're gonna be like, shit, I can barely breathe in this motherfucker. I'm feeling like Joshua. You know what the fuck? And you're not gonna get that mano-a-mano type effect if you throw two fish on the canvas. I'm just putting the information out there. What does big fish mean when you're speaking in the conversation of boxing? We just need, look, WCS wants answers for himself and for his audience, because we don't want to hear the mob terms, the big fish. We don't want to hear all that other shit. Your cartoon depiction was that you have a shark that's going door to door and everything. Now, I'm just trying to find out what shark you're talking about and what does it have to do with the left and the right and the left. You know what I'm saying? Switching stances. What does it have to do with a hook? You know what I'm saying? Uppercut, jab. What does a big fish have to do with that? Because if you keep a fish out of water too long there, Errol, it doesn't perform well. I just need some answers. A lot of us need answers as to how that's going to benefit you on fight night. Andrew Charles, what's good? Salute to you. WCS salute. Salute to everybody that's in the building. Now, we always come to this conclusion, right? That you can talk all you want outside the ring. But the only reason that it's important for me to speak on this topic every now and then, because you know, you have the same streamers. I have to identify them as streamers now, because streamers are individuals who willing to just pretty much put anything out. They'll say anything, everything. And, you know, when they know it's dead ass fucking wrong and biased, they'll put it out. His streamers. So this is to the Errol Spence streamers. The only thing they have left at the bottom of the glass is that small droplet of authority that social media gives them. That means they can sit up here and talk about what Errol Spence is going to do to Crawford. Crawford don't have a chance. You know, Errol Spence is just too much. He's too strong. He's the big fish. He's too big of a fighter. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, he's been in welterweight for quite some time. He's been known to balloon up to over light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to talk about size comparisons, yeah, he has allowed himself to balloon up in weight in an unhealthy way. We already know that. He has also allowed the public to become acclimated to that over a period of time of seeing him out in public like that. Before Sean Porter and after Sean Porter. That is public record. That is not something that's made up. That is public record. Now, his streamers, the Errol Spence streamers, they won't stand up for what is right and say, you know what, we need to hold him accountable and motivate him to keep his sobriety intact. If he's to go in there and have any chance of being competitive against Terrence Bud Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He needs to keep his sobriety in check if he's going to have any type of success in stopping Terrence Bud Crawford from becoming two-time undisputed. You know how I gave y'all that 65-35 on how Crawford 65% would dominate before he even stepped into the ring. His 65% of how he go about his life and staying healthy and living the lifestyle of the career and occupation that made him millions, he takes it serious. He don't do anything to jeopardize that. You know, when I talked about that 65% and then the 35% when he's in the ring of being able to compete at the highest level against Errol Spence, that's still a factor. That is still relevant at the end of the day. I know we're still waiting for some type of official word to come out. Certain individuals choose to believe that this fight is still going to happen. You know, speaking with Bernie, when Shaw News had him on for an interview, he said they're definitely going to fight. He didn't give a date, but you know, he said this several times already. They're definitely going to fight. So I have to take and believe Bernie's word that they're going to fight. When I hear that word, though, I have to revert back to helping the Errol Spence streamers understand one thing. When you say it's no way, when you believe that the pressure of Errol Spence is going to somehow break Terrence Crawford down, when you say that, that takes energy, okay? Listen to what I'm telling you. For him to use that pressure, it takes energy. And obviously, Errol Spence is fully understanding and acclimated to him going in there throwing a lot of punches, okay? But listen, he has been successful at that display of effort with those opponents outside of ever stepping into the ring and answering the bell against Terrence Crawford. It's okay for him to have fought different tier fighters and was able to have success with his punch output. That's great. The volume was satisfying. You know what I'm saying? He was able to appease those fighters with his punch output. But none of those fighters was Terrence Bud Crawford, man. Y'all have to understand that shit. None of those fighters was Bud Crawford. So if he comes out the gate the same way, you know what I'm saying? And he keeps putting out there that he enjoys beating the will out of his opponent, then you also have to understand this. Errol Spence has to come to the realization that he himself may have to go through a different point in his life when he steps in there with Bud Crawford. He's gonna have to take it to a level or a depth that he's never been before. He want to talk about the fish, but that doesn't mean every fish that swims in the water goes to any depth they choose to, and they're able to survive at that depth. No. If you do your research on some of these fish that's at a deeper depth, I'm talking about deep, you find out there's some ugly fish. You know what I'm saying? They're not really the menacing fish that, you know, people want to display on t-shirts and baseball caps. It's not those. It's not those. Seriously. It's not those. They don't go to the deepest. And I'm just saying, if Errol Spence doesn't understand that he too, the big fish, can get drowned the night he's stepping in the ring with Bud Crawford, then he's in for that type of situation. He's in for something quite different. I'm going to be honest with you. I believe that Errol Spence totally understands that it's going to be extremely difficult to beat Terrence Crawford. I believe he truly grasps how difficult it's going to be after what he's been through on how he fucked off, how it affected him to this day. It's going to be very difficult for him to just, omit what happened in the Udenis Ugas fight. And the reason why I keep on mentioning Udenis Ugas fight is because it happened recently. But that's something that's still on his mind. He didn't look good in that fight. Regardless of the punishment that was delegated, he did not look the way he was supposed to. He didn't look dominating. He didn't look menacing. He didn't look imposing. He didn't go in there and make it a lopsided fight as if, Udenis then he wasn't supposed to be in the ring with him. He didn't make it seem that way. He didn't make it seem easy. Just because Eudenis Ugas had the belt and he had a Pacquiao on his resume and a Sean Porter doesn't mean that people was looking at Eudenis Ugas as being this guy that was going to go in there and give Errol Spence the run of a lifetime. No one was thinking that. They was figuring that, yeah, this is just another belt that Spence has to pick up, and they're going to go in there and fight, and Spence going to win. They didn't expect for Ugas to be landing that right hand the way he was. They didn't expect Errol Spence to go fetching his mouthpiece in the heat of battle, for him to just go fetch his mouthpiece and lose focus to the point where he's in a real fight. And it always goes back to people always say, oh, look what he did to, yeah, he ended up, making Eudenis Ugas wear the fight. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Whatever happened in there, Eudenis Ugas, finally getting the orders, and he stopped fighting and he just bowed down to Spence because, he wasn't there to win. Spence did not look spectacular in that fight at all. He was hurt several times in that fight. And if Eudenis Ugas hurt him the way he did, what the hell you think Crawford's going to do? What the hell you think's going to happen? See, I try to tell the Errol Spence streamers, the Spencerholics, I try to explain to them that they don't know deep down inside. They don't know if Errol Spence is 100% after the accident. But I keep telling them he isn't. But they just don't want to listen because they say I'm a Errol Spence hater. I'm not a hater. That's not something I do. I'm just telling you what I believe. It doesn't mean it's true. I just believe he's not 100%. Not only that, when you all, the same ones that supposedly been supporting Spence heavy, I didn't hear you all one time, the streamers, on here before he fought Sean Porter, when he was making a mockery out of his brand, drunk in public. I didn't hear nobody up here just really holding him to the fire and say, you know what, that's not a good look for him to be out here intoxicated. You know what I'm saying? And then the fact that we know he's been known to pack on pounds in between fights, just like he cracked the bottle open and take those sips. No one was holding him accountable because they wanted to be his friend. They felt that Spence was the more popular fighter other than Crawford in Omaha, and they felt that they can relate more to Texas than Omaha, so they chose a side. We want to rock with Spence. Even though he's out here partying, I just want to go to the party. Just invite me to the party. That's what the Spencerholics, the streamers, were doing back then. They're still doing it even now, to this day. But now it's more so of support team. It's more so unemployed life coach type support. It's more so a group of individuals getting together to try to speak on the same thing in the same week. Hopefully more people will tune in to the same rhetoric. It's like propaganda at the end of the day. You get enough people to talk about it in different areas, people start to listen, and then they start telling people the propaganda that they just heard you talk about, and it starts spreading a little bit. That's what we're talking about with these guys. Like it's straight up propaganda. That's all. They are not sure if the guy's 100% after the accident. The way he was sounding on TV, they know the man was talking slower than usual. They know he's in a sport where contact is made to the very part of his body that was injured during the accident. They know that. They lack the fortitude, the intestinal fortitude to speak up and say, listen, I hope the fight happened, but to be honest, we're not sure of who's going to win the fight. Look, the Terrence Crawford fans up here telling y'all shit, Errol Spence gonna get knocked the fuck out because they looking at what Terrence Crawford, the 65% he does out the motherfucking ring. They looking at what he's been able to accomplish in his boxing career. They look at how much better he is all around than Errol Spence Jr. We're not just sitting up here saying things just because it sounds nice. We're just making a point that Spence had his opportunity to take the sport serious. He's been in a single division his entire career. And internal to that division, it wasn't a group of people that was able to keep him guided. You know what I'm saying? Keep his nose clean, so to speak. Keep him focused on where he's supposed to go as far as trying to be one of the greatest to ever do it. Now he's just based off popularity. He ain't really did anything special in the sport. He ain't really did anything special. He's not a part of the 4-belt era. Bud Crawford is, though. He hasn't been able to win a championship outside of welterweight. Bud Crawford has. Seriously. He's been a part of multiple divisions in his career. I know that's a difficult salt tablet to swallow, especially with no chaser. But that's the reality of this boxing game we got right here. You know, you can't get personal. You know, like the Errol Spence streamers, you can't get personal about another voice speaking on a fighter, just as you all are doing too. You know what I'm saying? Let your words be heard. But I'm telling you, we're not talking about him just splitting the ropes and throwing punches and pressure burst pipes, and he got too much pressure for Terrence Crawford. Listen, bro. Terrence has more knockouts than Errol Spence has wins, bro. There's no debating that. There's no debating that. That's no debating that he has 6 straight stoppages as a welterweight. There's no debating that. That's not for debate. You can talk about Ricky Burns all you want, but that's a chip. That's a chip. We can talk about how many undefeated fighters that he has on his resume. We can talk about how many fighters he took back to Omaha, Nebraska that was considered dangerous, at least very competitive. That he said, no, fuck it. I'm taking them to Omaha, goddammit. My first defense, come on, let's go to Omaha. His mentality is different, man. Look, Crawford was doing this shit back in the day, bro. Errol Spence just got to a point where somebody was feeling some type of way. And Jerry Jones said, listen, I want to bring more attraction to my training facility and my facility. So I'm going to pick Errol Spence, but I have to wait till he clean up some things that he's linked to at this time. And then, you know, I bring him along. Jerry Jones was the one who selected, you know, Errol Spence to come along for the ride. It wasn't vice versa. Let's not get it twisted. It wasn't vice versa. Let me go over here to the live chat right quick. Pop a lot. What's good? What's good? Blah say, break it down, the NWCS sport. I like your discernment. Pop say Spence fans are different. All I'm saying. Hold on for a second. Listen, I'm not trying to take y'all back in time where, you know, there was cavemen and women, there was rocks laying around, And it wasn't social media, obviously. So the shit that they was talking about was what they seen when they left the cave. I'm not trying to really give you some type of antiquated visual on this fight. I'm not trying to go so far back in time and compare these fighters to fighters back in the day. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to keep it relevant to what we are dealing with right now in this era, and what information we have to go off of, what criteria. That's all I'm doing. And the most imminent reality is that if we take what happened to Errol Spence before the accident, before Porter and after Porter, there's a big percentage that he may not make it out that fight, because he's in there with a different type of fighter. We're talking about a fighter who's been there already, who sits atop the pound for pound list. He's going to be totally different than Errol Spence has ever challenged in his entire career. It's almost like Joshua. Anthony Joshua was, protected up to a point. He was basically placed in positions to pick up titles. Charles Martin, Klitschko, Joseph Parker, and all them people, right? All them fighters. He was placed there. He had the opportune time. Well, the celebration has ended. You know what I'm saying? We all know that Errol Spence went into somebody else's backyard and picked up the title. Kudos. But so did Terrence Bud Crawford. You feel me? So kudos to that. Just because they, that both of them went over there in somebody else's backyard and picked up a title. Kudos. Kudos to that. Seriously, kudos to you, bro. But you have a title from a fighter who has already competed in the ring with you before. Sean Porter couldn't retain his title. You know what I'm saying? Like Bud Crawford. He couldn't retain his title. You know what I'm saying? Kell Brook lifted that title. Then when Sean Porter tried to fight for another title and challenge, you know what I'm saying, that Keith Thurman, that one time, when he used to be one time, he couldn't get it done. And then, they kept him around because he's a good guy. He's a company man. They finally gave him an opportunity to fight for that WBC vacant. You feel me? He got that done. You know what I'm saying? Perfect opponent, perfect style matchup. He got it done. Now, the information is they want to talk about what the scorecards read with or without the knockdown. Really? No one cares what the scorecards read. No one cares, because the fight was very close. Very, very close. And for them to even be considering talking about what the judges scored that fight ahead of time, and trying to exclude the knockdown. The point is, Sean Porter was knocked down in the 11th, right? It was a close fight. You know why it was close? Because Errol Spence won via split decision. You can't change this shit, bro. You can't come up here and start talking about the judge's scorecard and try to dang erase shit that is right there anchored. It's anchored in the boxing annals for life, bro. You can't do shit about it. This streaming, talking about this frivolous rhetoric, it's not going to change the fact that he went life and limb trying to prove to the people that he'll fight Sean Porter's fight. And then y'all want to get on here and talk about how close the fight was. And regardless, if he wouldn't have got the knockdown, Errol still would have won. It was a split decision, dog. It was a split decision. What part of that you don't get? What part you don't understand? Then he gets the opportunity because, once again, his eye couldn't hold up. Some sparring partner was in there giving him the business. And, Derrick James was like lost his wits and started going crazy. Well, who the fuck? God damn it, I brought you in camp to take a beating. And you giving my fighter a beating. So, this sparring partner, went in there and did his thing and broke Spence's eye. You know what I'm saying? They want to talk about how Spence is the eye collector when he couldn't even keep ownership of his own eye. His own eye was goddamn had left the scene. So he had to come back and pick up the WBA title. He got it done. He got it done. But listen, we ain't convinced because neither of those fighters that you beat, is Terrence Bud Crawford. Point blank, period. Neither one of them. It don't matter how many debates it's had. Y'all ain't debate WCS. That shit ain't gonna be for free. It ain't gonna be for free. I'm not debating emotional type dudes who all they want to do is start screaming and cussing and talking about stuff that's irrelevant to the topic. I've heard it all before. You know what I'm saying? I heard that shit all before. It makes no sense for me to tell y'all what I've been telling y'all time and time again. And y'all want to come up here and try to talk about, oh, I've been saying this for a year straight, the same shit. That's what they're going to do. We've been saying this shit. Well, let's talk about the numbers. Nobody want to talk about the numbers. But I will. Let's talk about the numbers. Let me give you some free game for those of you that love talking about the numbers that Errol Spence does, like it has something to do with the physical inclination. You know what I'm saying? Like it has something to do with the physical results that we're going to see when these fighters step in the ring. Have you heard these cats always talk about and boast and brag about Errol Spence doing numbers? And I've been on record as talking about how Jerry Jones, when he was in Frisco, he pretty much bought the house. Jerry Jones bought the house. Now, to us buying the house like Jerry Jones, we need to make sure our savings is good. For Jerry Jones, though, that was like $5-6 to him. So he bought the house. Errol Spence didn't sell out Frisco. Jerry Jones bought the house. He said it. It's on record. It's out there. Let's get to the Mikey Garcia situation. Let's put some truality. That's not even a word. Let's put some truality out there. They believe when it comes down to debating, they want to talk about numbers, right? They want to talk about Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia being on pay-per-view at AT&T. When you hear these streamers, these Errol Spence streamers, they always talk about how Errol Spence, when he fought Mikey Garcia, it was Errol who did this. Let me just totally erase that, because usually I don't talk about this bullshit so much. It's just asinine to believe that they still up here trying to create narratives, right? And then they try to fudge numbers and bloviate the shit out of them, and it becomes something that doesn't even make them consider to be sane. At the end of the day, they need help, psychological help. But anybody and everybody who's been in Texas know damn well, first of all, if they follow boxing, then Mikey Garcia is much more of a relevant fighter than Errol Spence. He's a 4-weight champion. Let's get that out of the way. It's no debating. It's no debating. All right. This is when you have to separate intelligence from stupidity. There might be some intelligence in stupidity, but if you acting the part and talking the part, then people are going to lean heavy on the latter, that you just straight up stupid. Anybody who's been residing in Texas know if they went to that fight with Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence, it was more Mexican fans there. Texas used to be the Mexico of the states. Texas. It was more Mexican fans in that venue than it was blacks. You know how I could say it's more Mexican boxing fans? Because every time you have a Mexican fighting a black, they say, oh, the reason why, it'll be a brother. It'll be one of my brothers, right? because I got to say my people. I can't disassociate myself with these because they'll be saying, "Oh man, he's a Sambo. Man, he ain't right. He ain't right, man. That sucker." But check this out, though. Anybody will tell you it was more Mexicans at that fight when Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia than black fight fans, than black boxing fans. That's the truth. When you see black fighters wearing the Mexican colors, that's because the Mexican fan base is hardcore. They love the sport. They will tell you to your face. I want you just to give me your pick, your prediction. Are you going with Errol Spence? I know what colors you're repping. Okay. I know you what colors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The red, white, green. Yeah, I got it. But I just want who you think gonna win this fight? Errol Spence or Mikey Garcia? Mikey moving up, 2-weight division for the first time. Who you think gonna win? Mikey. Okay. All right. Let me talk to you, sir. Aquí, ven aquí, señor. Muchas gracias. Okay, thank you. Who you think gonna win? Errol Spence or Mike Garcia? Mikey? Mexican fans will tell you straight up to your face they're gonna be biased about a fighter that's from their country. There's no question about it. It was more Mexican fan base in AT&T Stadium than it was black black boxing fans. So for anybody and everybody who loves being in these chats, typing away and pressing enter whenever they hear the numbers, it's bullshit. Mikey brought those numbers. Yeah, the lightweight, the 135 pounder. First of all, you're not going to convince anybody there's more black boxing fans that support this sport than Mexicans. No, that's not even the case. You're not going to convince anybody with any sane opinion that's neutral, that understand how this sport has been for quite some time. You're not going to say that there are more black boxing fans in Texas than there were Mexican fight fans when Spence fought Garcia, dog. So when you hear this bullshit, the same toilet flushing over and over again, understand that it wasn't Spence. It was collective sharing going on. It was collective effort between Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia with the majority and Errol Spence with the minority. That is true reality of that number bullshit that you hear in all these debates. Errol did this, Errol did that. Mikey, 4-weight champion before he decided to move up to welterweight. Once again, a 4-weight champion prior to attempting to face a single division champion. How many belts did Errol Spence have when he fought Mikey Garcia? We can't talk numbers without people seeing clearly, bro. If you need a freaking eye test, an ear test, get it done. But no one is going to convince a hardcore fight fan that there was more black boxing fans in Texas the night that he faced Mikey Garcia. So we can get that out of our conversation. We can expunge that and archive it for life. That shit isn't true. That just sounds good from the Spence streamers that Errol Spence did these numbers. No, he did not. So when you try to separate how valuable Errol Spence is from Terrence Crawford, and you want to add numbers, no, that's why the fight hasn't been made, because both of them are pretty much in the same boat. It's just Terrence Crawford don't have the Jerry Jones who was willing to, grab hold of a fighter and say, hey, come along for this little walk for a second. Let's try to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Okay. That's all that happened, people. Errol Spence is not that dude when it comes to boxing globally, where he's just selling out. If he was, he would continue to increase. Those numbers will continue to rise and elevate themselves. That ain't the point. I mean, that ain't happening. That ain't fucking happening, bro. The numbers are not going through the roof. No one's going to convince anybody with any type of education on boxing that it was more black boxing fans in AT&T Stadium the night that he fought Mikey Garcia. It was more Mexicans there than black boxing fans. Period. That's the old Mexico right there, Texas. That's the old Mexico. That's like the bed. That's like the foothold. That's like the Mexican foothold, dog. You think they're not going to come out and support a Garcia? How can y'all sit up here and turn and look to the area, the area of Spence and say, okay, who he's supporting? Because every time I turn around, the brothers are wearing the Mexican colors. Come on, bro. Let me get to this chat. Jason Williams on deck. Salute to you, brother. Being semi-popular in Dallas doesn't make you the A side. Here we go again. Somebody that's understanding that God bless him with a brain, and internal to their brain is intelligence. It doesn't take a scientist to sit up here and go to a laboratory and say, "Oh, let me crack my knuckles. I feel good." Okay. If you resided in Texas over a year and you're a boxer with a championship, you're the A side. No, that's not the case. That's not what we're going to do with deductive reasoning. We're not going to do that shit. Great point there, Andrew. Shout out to my guy, Town Business Sports Entertainment. What's good, Town? How you feeling, bro? Shout out to Town, who be out there in the trenches all the time covering these fights, man. Appreciate you pulling up, brother. Big salute to Town Business Sports and Entertainment with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Salute. Cooking with Sir Senior on deck. What it do, man? Salute everyone. Hit the like button. You know what it is, man. You know what it is. Appreciate everyone pulling up. But I just want to bring that to where it's always been. People act like it's up there in the stars, right? It ain't. You talk to the right one, numbers mean nothing. It doesn't matter how loud you scream. You know what I'm saying? How many words that you choose to direct, derogatory comments. You know what I'm saying? How agitated you get. No one in their right mind will confirm, if they really follow boxing, there was more black boxing fans in Texas the night that he fought Mikey Garcia. It just wasn't the case. And y'all need to stop going around here and spreading that agitprop as if it has validity to it. It wasn't. That shit is over and done. When you want to talk about Spence did this and Spence, he did not. Mikey was the majority. His people came out to support him. If the black boxers had a fan base like the Mexicans, then we'll be doing great. You know what I'm saying? We'll have more Floyd Mayweathers that was able to cheat the system with being in there with the right time and era, having the skill set, having the entertainment value, being as popular, being a salesman. Everybody can't do what Floyd Mayweather was able to do. That's why everybody always use him as the bar. That you need to stop that. That's a bar that you'll never reach. You can never put Errol Spence into being an entertainer like Floyd Mayweather just because of their skin color. You can never do that shit. It would never freaking work. They're not even the same boxer. The way Floyd Mayweather sold fights, they're not even the same. But getting back to Terrence Bud Crawford, right? I just had to put that out there when people are continue to scream that Terrence Bud Crawford don't sell tickets, but yet he packs out the house. He packs out the house. And then the only fight that they love using is Mikey Garcia. When he came into that pay-per-view, he didn't even have any raw numbers from Frisco, Texas. He didn't have no raw numbers to basically base his PPV notoriety off of. Where did the numbers come from? And how many seats did Jerry Jones buy at AT&T Stadium on the night he fought Mikey? How many did he buy? Because he sure enough bought the house out in Frisco. So you trying to tell me he just went dry, cold turkey, and said, you know what, Errol? I got faith in you, buddy. I'm not going to buy any comp tickets. I'm going to let you do your thing. All right? 2 thumbs up. That's not the case, bro. Jerry Jones wanted to buy the comp tickets to put some celebs in the seats. You know what I'm saying? Like they do. You know what I'm saying? They want to inject some star power in there. Because we know the Mexicans brought their fan base. They was all up in the stands. They're all up in the stands. If the Mexicans didn't have a larger fan base than we did, then why majority of the black fighters are fighting Mexican fighters, and why do we continue to wear their colors? I don't see Mexican fighters wearing our colors. What colors are those? Every time you turn around, you see a black fighter wearing a sombrero. You see a black fighter wearing the Mexican colors. It's been in history. Why? Because of their fan base. The brothers or the black fighters are trying to cater to the Mexican fan base to sell tickets. And once again, you're still up here debating Mikey Garcia as if he wasn't relevant, right? You're debating Mikey Garcia didn't have no type of participation at AT&T Stadium when he fought Errol Spence. It's bogus, man. That's just bogus. This is the first time Town Biz. Hey, man, I'm going to open up the panel, man. I know last time you was on here. If you want to, drop in, Town, man, you're more than welcome, whoever else on here, and talk about the topic or not. But, I'm just saying, like, man, it's time to just do away with the same old song and dance, man. Like, it's really a debate. They keep on coming up with, you can say all you want. You can say, okay, Errol Spencer's going to watch it. Okay, you can say all the opinionated freaking jargon that we've heard before. We've heard all that banter over and over again. But I'm talking about the extraneous information. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the information that that is absolutely fabricated. You want to act like this man is just packing out the house and selling all these tickets. And you have to understand, he brought 2 Garcias to the AT&T Stadium. 2 Garcias now. How funny does that look? He brought 2 Garcias. He didn't bring 2 brothers. He brought 2 Garcias to AT&T Stadium. Y'all talking about this man selling out the place? Come on, stop it, man. He picked up 2 popular fighters. Now, of course, Danny Garcia is more popular than Mike Garcia, but Mike Garcia has done more than both Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. That is fact. That is fact. But he brought 2 Garcias to Texas, AT&T Stadium. And these guys continue to debate like Errol Spence is really putting down the numbers. No, he isn't. Now, I must commend Terrence Bud Crawford for his negotiation practices. I must commend him for being astute and educated on what he was in the sport to do. He was in the sport to compete, and he was also in the sport to get paid for competing. All right? Everybody's setup is different. He knew what he wanted to do in the sport, compete, and also for his effort and his labor, he should get paid top dollar. Over the time, he worked himself up the ladder to become much more of a commodity in the sport, much more value, much more appraisal to his boxing Wall Street. He's did that. And for him to get the amount of guarantee money, he was getting, that's a very intelligent man right there. Very smart. Because he knew that boxing is a business. It's amazing how boxing is only a business when it comes down to the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford debate or conversation or argument. People say, well, he's did all the heavy lifting. They're always whining. He did all the heavy lifting. He has 3 belts. Look, he's not the first fighter to ever earn 3 belts. But I never heard so many human beings sit up here and cry about a person that made a declaration to become welterweight undisputed. To become that, you have to earn the belts, right? So if you understood that was in the forecast, why did you think it wouldn't be any inclement weather? Why wouldn't you think it'd be difficult? It was going to be fucking difficult. He said he wanted to be undisputed. But then they turned right around and started talking shit about what Terrence Crawford don't rate. Terrence Crawford should take whatever they give him. Terrence Crawford should take 70-30. Terrence Crawford should do this. Crawford should do this. Crawford, did you forget boxing is a business? Boxing is a motherfucking business. Is it a business only when it comes to certain boxers? When Canelo is negotiating, is it a business? That's what it seems like. It seems like boxing is only a business when it comes to a specific name fighter that people just want to say, yeah, Canelo's dealing enough. What about Crawford? No, Crawford ain't dealing enough. Hell no. He still got more work to do. Okay, so he has 3 weight classes. So what about Spence? Now Spence, he deserved that shit. Why you say that? He did all the heavy lifting. He survived the car accident. Yeah, he deserved that shit, dog. He's special. God gifted. So you're saying one division, let's do the math. So at a greater value, is 3 higher or lower than 1? We ain't talking about that, dog. We're talking about butts in the seat. They give you the same shit all the time, man. It always goes back to the same rhetoric. 3 divisions is more valuable when it comes to accolades than 1, period. I can see if Crawford has never unified a single division, but he became undisputed. He earned this shit. So now in 1 division, right? That wasn't even Crawford's first division that he unified. That was his second division where he became undisputed, right? Errol Spence is trying to complete a task that he set upon himself. He said he wanted to be welterweight undisputed. Crawford then suggests to Errol, hey man, you're a good guy, man. I want to suggest this to you. I know what it feels like. I have the t-shirt and everything. I've pretty much been undisputed. It's a good feeling, man. You know what I'm saying? And you said you wanted to be undisputed. I just want to give you, it goes without saying, man. I just want to give you my support. I just want to encourage you to be the best ever at welterweight and really go out and get your goals. You know what I'm saying? Just stay dialed in, dude. Just stay locked. As long as you stay locked, you're good. You're good. But I must tell you this. You can pick up all the other belts. In order for you to be undisputed, you got to pick up my belt. I'm going to tell you, my friend, that's going to be difficult. That's all I'm saying. I don't hate you or dislike you as a competitor, but all I'm saying is when you come down this road, don't let the street lights guide you into your fate. It's going to be tough. It's going to be the darkest moment you ever experienced in boxing. I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you. When it comes down to these fans, bro, they tried their best to rise to elevate Errol Spence's achievements when they know that shit is mediocre. Quantity does matter when it comes to boxing. It does. Quantity matters, but then they're gonna say quality. Okay, and we talking about quality. Sean Porter, right? You wanted a common opponent. Terrence Crawford fought that common opponent. Kell Brook, okay, he came in there off a loss. He came there off a loss, battered and bruised and beaten. He came in there and fought Spence, battered, bruised, and beaten. The 3 Bs. He did. What easier championship to get? And Errol Spence soaked that shit up and took the fight and went in there and fought, right? But look what Terrence Crawford did. Look how honorable he is. Terrence Crawford, look, this is what I'm saying. These niggas don't want to debate. Check this out. Look what Terrence Crawford did for Errol Spence. He said, I don't want to fight that man coming off an accident. I don't want to do that. I want to fight him when he's healthy because they're not going to give me credit. If I beat his ass after he come back from this accident, they're going to say he wasn't fully recovered. And you know, Terrence Crawford took advantage of the situation. He knew that man wasn't ready. He knew Errol Spence needed a tune-up. But see, Errol Spence, if he's saying he don't need a tune-up, why is the Spence streamers trying to act like his first fight back was something amazing? Danny Garcia went in there and moved around with Errol and got his ass beat for a check. Why? Because Spence is from Long Island. He looked out for his guy. What better confirmation is they were sitting right next to each other at the fight when Ryan Lion Garcia pulled up and betted 20 stacks. It's fact. Danny Garcia went in there and said, okay, I'll take an ass beating. I've been here, done that. I'll take an ass beating. I'll take an ass beating. It's okay. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. What's good? Salute. How's everybody doing? What's good with you there, Blunts and Boxing? Tony Boswell, salute to you. Respect to you, brother. Much respect at World Combat Sports in the chat. Stop there and show support and hit the like button. Salute to you, Tony. Always, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Sir Senior said red, black, and green on the Mexican. Never heard of it. Never. Talk to him, Senior. Never. Let's do some research. And Sir Senior dropped a little gem out in the floor and shit. Have you ever seen these colors? Have we ever seen that color? You know, since Senior want to bring it up, he make a valid point. Have we seen Mexican fighters trying to wear these colors right here? Do we even see Black Americans wearing these colors right here? But they saying Errol Spence, when he fought Michael Garcia, he was the reason 350. It was because of Spence, not Mikey Garcia. Have you seen other boxers? Have you ever seen Filipinos and Mexican fighters trying to wear these 3 colors right here? If so, can you please drop the link so I can look at that video? I'm talking about even Black Americans now. Notice I didn't say African Americans. I'm talking about Black Americans. Have you seen them wear these colors right here? Probably not. But if by chance doing this live stream, if you can send me a video of someone with this outfit on that's a Black American, not from Africa, not having roots with African parents and all that. We're not talking about ancestry.com. No, we're talking about fighters who are dressing up in these colors right here. Just let me know if you come about. Just let me know. That's all I want. That's all I want. Just let me know. But when it comes down to the reality of the bogus information that's put out, the fake news, it should be addressed, especially when it is fight, because YouTube has not spearheaded. YouTube has never spearheaded enough quality information for the guys at the higher echelon to consider us to say, I like what's going on. Now there's still a little information here and there for content. They will insert it into articles and shit like that. And if it's good enough and you're the only one that was on the scene, they'll cite you. They'll cite your channel or whatever. Cool. They'll cite it. They have to. But when it comes down, we've never been a part of spearheading a news release to make a fight. No one gives a damn about what we're talking about to make the fight, because it's a negotiation process that goes into this shit. I know it's a lot of people that just look and laugh and say, wow, they're really working for free. They're so labor intensive. They're willing to do anything to get likes and views. This is the way it works. But like I said before, who is wearing those colors when it comes to Africa? Most of everybody else is wearing the Mexican colors, which is very, very rampant in Texas. That's why Errol Spence want to stay there. And look, this is one thing I don't mind him doing. He wants to stay embedded because that's where the money is at. But he just can't be there when it comes to him and Terrence Crawford, because this fight is much more of a higher magnitude than all the other fights that he had there. This is for Undisputed. We're not trying to go there and get robbed. We're not trying to go there and get robbed, y'all. We're not trying to go there and some strange shit happen where, you know, they say Terrence Crawford, you know, hit somebody on the thigh and they want to act like it was a low blow and shit. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to go through any type of damn controversy that seems a bit FIXED. We don't want the FIXED effect. Okay? We don't want that shit. Crawford has made it perfectly clear he ain't trying to go to Texas. Even though Errol Spence want to be in his backyard, he don't have to get on the plane and fly out with his people. He'll be right there. No. Neutral, and that's what it is. That's all we need. I don't knock him for wanting to stay in his backyard and get the money. But those days are over, man. Those days are over. If this fight doesn't happen, you'll still take those 3 belts and you'll stay at welterweight as long as you possibly can to try to see when Crawford's going to vacate. And then you're going to try to, you know, you're not going to try. You are. You're going to go over there and get that WBO title and fight for the vacant or whoever you think you can beat. They'll probably bring Danny Garcia back down here to fight for the vacant WBO title. Seriously. They're probably, hey, Porter. Yes, hello. When I speak to the CEO of Porter Podcast, Sean Porter, please. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Got some good news for you. Crawford's vacated. Did you hear? Hey, we want to know you're going to come out of retirement and fight for the vacant WBO title. Not against Crawford again, okay? Calm down. I know you're full of anxiety. Calm down. This is going to be against Errol Spence again. This is for his his undisputed. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm putting? So basically what I'm telling you, you're not coming into this fight to win. You good, Sean? Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. Just come in there and move around a little bit, you know, so he can pick up WBO time. Yeah, there you go. You know, nothing serious. I know you're retired. You got a lot of ring rust on you, but you want to come in here and make a check, we can make it happen. All right, cool. We can do that. They'll bring Porter out of retirement, y'all. They will bring Porter out of retirement. Seriously. You can't make this shit up. Look, listen to me. They will allow Ryan Garcia to come up from 140 to fight Errol Spence for the vacant WBO title. Mexican versus black, right? Anything to sell tickets. They'll start saying, hey, Ryan, we're going to use the $20,000 that you lost for being goofy, and we're going to try to help you earn that money back. Okay? Because we know you put it on a credit card. Okay? Word get out. But listen, we're thinking about you and Errol Spence, man, for undisputed welterweight. Now, you're not going to win. I'm just telling you, but you get the $20,000 back that you lost being goofy. Do you want it? They will present so many options to Errol Spence. They will have Ryan Garcia come up, man. They would do anything necessary to keep it in Texas, to keep it a black Mexican if Terrence Bud Crawford vacate that WBO. I don't care what nobody say. You can keep talking about he going to 154 and all that. Man, this fight is either going to happen or they're going to keep on bullshitting around. And it's going to come to a point where Crawford may vacate. They'll go to 54. And immediately, I'm talking about immediately, they're going to lock in an opponent for Errol Spence to fight for that vacant WBA. Immediately, boy. That shit going to be in Texas, too. I'm telling you, bro. That shit going to be in Texas. It's going to be a Mexican, man. It's either going to be Danny Garcia, Ryan Garcia. It got to be a Garcia, y'all. He already had Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia. He's going to bring up Ryan Garcia. I'm telling you. They have a formula over there in Texas for Errol Spence. They got to find somehow, some way to attract the Mexican fan base. And that's about bringing Garcias. It don't matter, it's not like they violating the code by bringing Ryan Garcia up from 140. Hell, Mikey Garcia came up from 35. God dang it. So seeing say they trying to get Thurman to finally fight him just so Bud can't get them belts. If they want Thurman to be a part, I can't knock him because Thurman used to be formerly unified. I can't knock that. But am I going to tell you some bullshit? Yeah, it is. It is. Because y'all can pay Thurman, right? What y'all going to pay Thurman? 1.5, 1.6? What y'all going to pay Thurman? Nobody wants to see Thurman Spence. Nobody really wants to see. Well, I'll take that back. People do want to see Thurman Crawford. They want to see Thurman Crawford. Yeah, because anybody, and especially at this point in time, he's washed freaking Kell Brook and Sean Porter, right? At this point in time, he wasn't able to get Thurman. So if Thurman is the one to step in there with Crawford, right? They're hoping and wishing that Thurman gets the job done against Bud. They hoping and wishing, bro. We're talking about a guy who went the distance with a junior welterweight. And they want to put that man in there with Bud Crawford just to attempt to put a wrench in the game. No one wants to see Thurman Errol Spence. No one wants to see that. It doesn't matter how many losses Thurman has. He's been out the sport. He's lost traction. And just because you want to come back to the mic and talk a little shit is not going to have people running to say, hey, what Thurman saying? What he saying? What he saying? What he saying? Okay, man, I need to do a thumbnail on that. Let's go live. Thurman do this. It's not the same. It's not the fucking same than people talking about Crawford versus Spence. It's not the same when Crawford starts to speak on the fight. People tune in and listen. I don't know how many times it has to be said. So when you hear these guys out here debating and they want to start talking about numbers, and tell them to shut the fuck up, man. Don't nobody want to hear about no bogus ass freaking rhetoric that y'all say over and over again to the point where you say, hey, all we need is 2 more people to believe that Errol Spence was the fighter who brought the butts to the seats in Texas when he fought Mikey Garcia. People will tell you over and over again how many Mexicans in Texas. If you say, hey, how many, Mexicans in Texas, even close to Texas, than blacks? Please enlighten me. And then if they tell you it's more blacks, well, how many of those blacks, what's the percentage of those blacks who are boxing fans, though? Not going over there for military purposes, retirement, or, to get a nice property with some land or whatever the case may be. Not that. We're talking about boxing fans. There's a lot of Mexican boxing fans is over in Texas. Errol Spence knows that. That's why he chose to want to have this fight in his backyard, which is very dumbfounded that he would think that Crawford would want to agree to that. No way. There's no way in hell, bro. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, y'all. So y'all keep close. Y'all keep close to the situation. You already know how I feel. You know what I'm saying? We're keeping a steady flow of hope. You know what I'm saying? Confidence that this fight will happen before the end of the year. Nothing's changed over here at WCS. Crawford knocks out Spence. It don't matter about pressure, burst pipes, and all that. Don't have shit to do with it. Imagine the person that's trying to apply pressure. What if they burst? What if they ain't ready for trying to apply that pressure? What if they can't handle it? Because you got to be built a certain way to apply pressure. You can't just say, well, he's going to apply that pressure. Can Spence handle it? I mean, can Crawford handle it? No. Can Spence, the pressure maker, handle? Is he built to apply the type of pressure needed to break down Terrence Crawford? That's what you need to ask yourself. What's going on, Sir Scene? How you feeling, bro?
Feeling good, bro. How are you feeling, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. What's good? I seen you drop that gem. Yeah, I have to agree with you, man. They ain't wearing those colors, bro.
Facts. You never heard of it. And that's the funny thing is we always got to shuck and jive, or commit suicide for them to, get our attention, for better yet, for us to keep their attention. And that's bad. Right now, we should be making these fights. And we say that it's a lot of these people out here and they're like, oh, well, it's be about black people. Well, be about black people making their money. Why you got to piss on the other fighter? Now, you might like another fighter. You might think they do certain stuff better. But for you to start calling them a slave and some type of homosexual and all kinds of stuff, that's crazy and it's inappropriate.
Top
How
ring
does that
Toby.
sell the fight? That don't sell the fight. Then you're saying that his fans don't back him up. You're going against selling the fight. Then you say that, oh, well, this guy's really trash and the fight ain't even going to be anywhere close. This is the biggest fight in boxing, and you're going to say the fight ain't close? You're fighting against the fight. Wait a minute. I realize what you're doing. You done showed me your cards. Your body language done told on you. You done slipped up and had verbal leakage. You don't want the fight. You don't want Bud to step in the ring and, as they call it, the square circle with the truth. You rather let the truth fight one time, sometime, no time, Thurman. Because he has a better chance of beating Thurman. Because he going there with the smoke. It's going to be a problem. Because as the sweatshirt I bought from before they changed it up from the website of Bud Crawford, it says, I be fishing. So that hoodie tells you he be fishing for big fish, little fish, kissy fish, drunken fish. But I'm going to let it go right there.
Hey, man, well said, man. I mean, why you got to let it go for, man? Look, at this point in time, we can't allow them to continue to put out this defaming information and then think it's okay. And then get sensitive when we return fire and say something about, Spence, and they act like we hating. No, you can't say it's hating. Just like you said, y'all have all the homosexual freaking insults you possibly can. I ain't never seen dudes that love the letter D from jaw to jaw. They just keep that D from like a jawbreaker in their jaws every time they tell them. That has nothing to do with boxing. Telling somebody to suck you, it has nothing to do with boxing. That just goes to show you you're trying to distract from what's truly relevant in this fight. Y'all are not confident that Errol Spence is 100% after the accident. A self-inflicted moment that he caused upon himself. That he pretty much changed his life for eternity. You know what I'm saying? What worse way to be a boxer in a full contact sport, to be in a convertible, high speeds in a sports car, get ejected, land on the pavement, no head protection, none of that shit. And you're in the sport of boxing that's just full contact and you get punched in the head. Come on, man. That shit is insane, man, to think about it. You're in a full contact sport. And you're going to ride with the top back, no seatbelt on, no head protection, no nothing. But yet you're providing a lifestyle in a full contact sport such as boxing. You did it to yourself, man. You know, they can say all the things they want about Crawford, but time you bring up that accident, they think it's getting personal. No, that's public record. He pled guilty. He pleaded to a DWI.
It's funny, all the stuff that they get mad about be pure facts that come out of his mouth. They was like, oh, you talking about him being drunk. But that came out of his mouth. He the one lied about that. But they said, well, Earl never lied to me. You know, EJ never lied to us. He always told the truth. That's why we call him the truth, is because not just because he good, but because he always telling the truth. Wait a minute. He said that he wasn't a drunk. But then he got in an accident for drunk driving.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said he was the top welterweight and he's ready. But if you listen to his interviews, he said that there was times where he didn't even remember lots of stuff. And he thought he wasn't ever going to fight again. But then he tell you, oh, well, he's always been war tested and everything else. No. Then he tells you that he's going in ready for war to, you know, lay it on the line. And then he turn around and tell you, well, I don't want to die in the ring. Have you ever heard EJ say he didn't want to die in the ring before it's time for him to fight Crawford? He never said that with no other fighter. And he said Kell Brook was one of his biggest, hardest fights. He went across the pond to fight him. He wasn't worried about dying in the ring then.
You know why? When a man faces a life and death situation where he's provided a second chance at it, you know, prosperity, Errol Spence look at it like all of a sudden he don't want to die in the ring. The reason is that he felt that he's been in the worst situation, and now he's a bit frightful because he does have the task of stepping in there with Bud Crawford. So he's telling you right there, Senior, that he don't want to die in the ring, and somebody might be on that apron waving the towel. At the end of the day, they don't have that Deontay Wilder mentality like, hey, I want to go out on my shield. That's what I want to do. Don't do shit. No, not Errol Spence. He's been there. He's different. You can tell mentally he's a different person, not because he's smarter. It's the fact that he's now debilitated because he did hit skull to pavement. He's debilitated. He's not saying he don't want to die in the ring because, you know, that's just him trying to be macho like it can't happen. He's just saying it because now he's a much more fragile competitor. He's a much more fragile individual. You know what I'm saying? His sense of thinking may be a bit more feeble because he knows deep down inside behind closed doors he's going through some shit. He's going through some residual effects of being ejected from his vehicle and hitting the pavement. He is, bro. You know what I'm saying? He can sit up here and fake the funk and get dressed and look the part, but he's still suffering from some residual effects. Y'all remember this, right? Let me play this right quick. Y'all remember this from Mr. Spence, the big fish, right?
How so? I just say that.
No.
I just said that. This is what I'm telling you. I just said 126, 130, and 135. You hear me?
Yes.
26, 30, 35.
Yeah. Right.
the best.
Yeah, now he is the best. I feel like he's the best fighter out there. I feel like he'll beat anybody. It doesn't matter of the weight class, just like Adrian Bronner. So it is what it is. So line him up, he will beat them.
But
Tank can really punch, so he take care of that weight. It's crazy.
165.
Wow, he's a great fighter. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't. I love Tank to death. I feel like Tank can stop anybody from 126 to 140. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The hell of a fighter. It's gonna be crazy. Nah, he's a hell of a fighter. He's gonna be crazy. You know, just like Twins gonna beat the dude from San Antonio. On my figure out ass.
Well, he's talking about how he beat you now.
Yeah, he beat my amateurs. Look, I started fighting in 2015. In 2015, I started fighting in 2015. Amateurs, look, I started fighting in 2015. In 2015, I started fighting in 2015. In 2015, I started fighting in 2015. In 2015, I started fighting in 2015.
Y'all already get. You can't make this shit up, dog. What a grand moment. You know what I'm saying? Him chilling with the fellas. You know what I'm saying? At least the brothers was in the confines of a building. But goddamn it, hey senior, he started fighting in 2015. What was his first opponent? I'm just curious. Anybody know his first opponent in 2015? Because he started fighting in 2015. Anybody? I'm just saying, you really got to watch yourself when you out here in public. Y'all remember this one, right?
I mean, I
Y'all
thought he
remember
was
this moment?
fighting at. I mean, I don't remember when he first started fighting in 2015 because I thought he started fighting back when he fought that dude Jonathan Garcia, another Garcia. One that Jonathan Garcia. He loved them Garcias, don't he?
Yeah, he loved them because they had the Mexican twang to them. You know what I'm saying? They had that Mexican.
I thought that was his first opponent. That wasn't his first opponent.
No, bro. It has nothing to do with his opponent. It has something to do with the year he started fighting.
Oh yeah, because that first opponent, but that was in 2012 though, not 2015.
There you go. That's all.
Because
he said
in
his
2015
first,
he fought
started
Sonny
fighting in
Vargas.
2015.
That was his 16th fight. 16th fight.
Yeah, he started talking about, he started fighting in 2015. I'm like, something is off. Maybe it was the liquid. I don't know, but that was one of his grand moments. You know what I'm saying? Especially this one right here too. This with when he was out and about, and this was after the Sean Porter fight. Check this out. Dude is fucked up. He is fucked up. I know he out with his boys. He is fucked up. He is fucked up, man. Nobody was out there. I ain't see DJ. I didn't see any of these YT streamers. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see anybody. They was just enjoying it, posting it. This video got 24,000 views off Spence being fucked up in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? He would later go on to have that accident. Real talk. He would later go on to have that accident. All I was trying to do is, put the information out there because the Spencerholics, they tend to think we just bullying Spence online or social media. No, it's not bullying. It's public record. It's just public record. That's all. He said he started boxing in 2015. That's not true. What else you got to say about your boy, man? You think the fight's any closer, man? See?
I mean, by looking at how Bud handled it, I think the fight is getting closer, honestly. I think it really is getting closer. And it's funny the narratives that people are taking from what Bud said. Bud blatantly said that for his legacy, he don't need this fight.
Correct.
However, for the fans, for his fans, he needs to fight.
But what do you think he mean by that, senior?
He said that he was already going to be Hall of Fame. I mean, they already casted his hands. They just waiting for him to retire.
So pretty much for the Spencerholics, that's what he means.
It's blatant. I mean,
his
understand parts of speech. Then he said not only for his fans, he said for boxing fans, he said for the sport of boxing, and then he said for himself, because this is his first real rivalry. So where do they get, oh, well, he don't want to fight, or EJ want to fight more than him? How, Sway? But listen to them. They'll say anything. Then
it sounds good, though.
Sean Porter said that, oh, well, this is a really tough fight and it got a lot on the line. No, what Porter said was the magnitude of the fight, as in it's the biggest fight in boxing. It's going to make a crazy amount of money, not because it's a high risk.
Yeah.
They slid that out in there in between. Them, oh, well, it's a high risk. What's the risk? He got the same puncher's chance as any other boxer who's at the top level. Outside of that, what can Spence do to Bud? If Bud comes to fight, not even do his best fight, he just comes to fight. What can Spence do to him outside of the puncher's chance of saying, okay, well, he might pressure him and then clip him? That's all you could say, because anything else will be uncivilized to even pretend, because his footwork is not going to trip up Bud. Him hitting low is not going to trip up Bud. It's going to actually make Bud knock him out. If he plays that hit him low like he did Sean Porter, he going to get knocked out. If he plays that, oh, well, I'm going to pull on his arm and maybe throw a couple rabbit punches, like the dirty tactics, he play any of those dirty tactics, he's going to get knocked out. Because Bud going to muscle him. He ain't going to like that. He going to charge in and get knocked out. It's just that simple.
What about the pressure? You know, they seem to believe that Errol Spence has just this type of pressure that cannot be penetrated or refuted. You know what I'm saying? There's no way somebody can resist this type of pressure and survive.
Well,
check this out. Do you believe they're overlooking the type of opponent that he's been able to apply that pressure to and have success outside of ever stepping in there with Bud Crawford? Do you think they're overlooking that?
They're definitely overlooking that. Matter of fact, I'm going to use the quote from one of the YTC's best people, one of YouTube's best people. They said that Errol Spence Jr. does have pressure, but he's too flat-footed. His pressure will not bust Bud Crawford's pipes. Pause.
That sounds familiar. That sounds very familiar. Keep going.
That sounds familiar, don't it? I heard that somewhere.
Very familiar. Somewhere. His pressure will not bust Bud Crawford's pipes. Pause. I do remember that. I do remember that being quoted. And, he's absolutely right. We're in agreement on that. We're in agreement.
When you're right, you just right.
You just right. He look, singing. He was sincere. He was sincere when he said that. It wasn't nothing that was pretty much influenced by monetary wealth or pocket, them putting money filling his pockets. You know what I'm saying? No, that wasn't it. That was something that was genuinely said, and he believed it. He still believed it. He just have to go along with the narratives.
I mean, if you got to stick with the ones that pay you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the fact of the matter is you got to stick with the ones that pay you. Luckily, I don't get paid off of, kissing up to boxers that most people who paying me never seen. Boxers that they don't even know what they look like in real life. They don't know if this person is short, if they're fat, They never seen most of these people in life ever. But you're paying people to kiss up to them. I never heard of that. Paying another man to kiss up to another man. That sounds like some, some act symbol situations to me.
But most of the ones who we know are in bed with these fighters who's willing to push any narrative by any means necessary. It really haven't, like I said before, it hasn't influenced any type of progress. It hasn't sped up the traction on this fight being made. It's not doing anything except, allowing these people to get views on their channel, which I don't care about, but that's where it stops. It haven't gone anywhere outside of YouTube, except in a negative way where you hear certain people respond and say, oh, these fake channels. Even Errol Spence responded. You know what I'm saying? These fake, to the old boys, come out, y'all make so much money off Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, this and then, Errol Spence said, facts. You know what I'm saying? He knows it's fake news out here. So when it boils down to what he said, I believe he was genuine in believing that Errol Spence pressure would not do anything to Crawford like that. That's a totally different fighter that he's dealing with on fight night. That's not Udenis Ugas. It's none of them Danny Garcias. It's none of the Garcias, bro. There's none of them.
And that's the thing to me. You forget that Terrence Crawford got knockouts on the back foot. That means him so-called backing up from the fighter. That's him dodging punches and counter punching. That's where all his major knockouts come from, counter punching and or on the back foot. So if you pressure him, you're playing into the game of getting knocked out. But
you know how they say Terrence Crawford a slow starter? When this fight's made, do you believe that they've just been looking at him starting slow, whatever that speed is, you know what I'm saying? Because 3 rounds to me isn't quite slow. That's just pretty much the normality of it, right? 3 rounds to me to make a change on Kell Brook and then get him up out of there in 4. That wasn't a slow start. But when it comes down to Terrence going in there in the biggest fight of his career against his rival, so to speak, do you think he would so-called have that slow start against Spence, and Spence would be able to overwhelm him in the first 2 or 3 rounds from that pressure?
Well, they forget that they also said that EJ gets better the longer the fight goes on.
Correct.
So doesn't that exactly mean that he's a slow starter too?
But that's not even the topic of discussion when it comes to them. They just overlook that.
Yeah, that means you're not getting the best EJ in the first couple of rounds. So which is the issue though? The issue is that when you start getting the best Bud, he knocks people out. Mm-hmm. He hurts you. He makes you look silly. He knocks you out. That happens mid, and if he needs to, the last round. But he can still knock you out all the way through the whole fight. You're never safe. You're never safe. There's not a round that you're safe. The first round, if you act too tough, he can get you up out of there. Mm-hmm. Remember, Amir Khan got knocked down, not from a power hit, from just clean boxing. First round. And then he later finished him later on. So with that being said, he can get you out of there from 1 to 12. Even if their narrative was true, they say, oh, well, he was getting beat until he knocked him out. So correct. That means that even if you start beating him, he still can knock you out. So you're never safe. So they're not even listening to their own narratives.
Good point. Good point. I think they're so much used to grandstanding when it comes to Spence narratives. They're so used to grandstanding to the point where if somebody go against that, usually there's more than one of them to start throwing a tantrum and pouting. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're on the panel, they start throwing a tantrum and pouting. But if you're saying that he gets better as the fight go on along, then that means he is not holding the high percentage of aggressiveness early on in the fight. So that's pretty much mirroring what you saying about Terrence Crawford. Not you per se, them. You're saying that Terrence Crawford is a slow starter, but yet you're saying Errol Spence, you know, he gets better as the fight go along. Come on now. Come on. He's not this machine. He's not the Terminator. And he's been known to take punches to the head. We've seen it in his last fight. So say what you like about Crawford being a slow starter. But what we know is when he does step in there, I would have already told him he's behind in the fight. So God damn it. We're not gonna wait. We're not gonna wait till the half of the fight. When he's walking out and say, Crawford, you behind. You behind in the fight, Crawford. You behind, dog. Before he even get to the ring, man. I'm just gonna set the temperature before he even step in the ring, man. It has to be done, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when Crawford turns that switch over, man, and he really throws his offensive strategy out the window, man, his closing rate
100%.
I know 100%. His closing rate when he throws the offensive strategy out, it's acutely he gets his attention of his opponent right then and there. Period. They know they in a motherfucking fight now. It ain't no more boxing. You in a fight, and that shit is maximized at 100%, dog. That's what it is. What's going on, Shaw News in the building? Salute to your D-Ray Promotions. Appreciate y'all pulling up. That's what it is, man. We just have to get this fight because Bernie, Bernie did say the fight's gonna happen though. You know what I'm saying?
Bud said on the Portaway podcast, he said he's definitely going to do that. There was like, well, you want to be before you move up, are you going to be undisputed at 47? He said he's definitely going to do that. So there wasn't no hesitant, there wasn't no sidestepping it. He was talking over them. I'm definitely going to do that. So, and you look at his body language, Bud looked like he could walk in the ring right then. Bud probably was on or really close to weight right then. And he just came back from doing paintball. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they expect.
I tell them all the time, bro, that Bud Crawford is a much better athlete out of the two fighters. I mean, that's going to come down and play a significant role in their fight. It's not just boxing. It's always to how the conditioning fares between both fighters. Once their body really starts to get warmed up and they both start inflicting damage on one another, it's going to come down to, who's more durable. You know what I'm saying? Who's built for the condition of the fight? Who's built for the temperature of the fight? Who's built for the wear and tear, man? The damage, all that. Who's built? Who's more well equipped? That's what it's gonna come down to, man. And I'll say over and over again, Bud Crawford is a better athlete. He stays in the gym. He's not up here, drinking in between fights. You know what I'm saying? Just because he hired a new nutritionist or whatever, and he was able to drop weight, that doesn't mean he ain't sipping on the bottle.
It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy that he had to get into this accident to stop blowing up in weight and stop drinking. He had to have this surgery. His eye get knocked halfway out like an old cartoon for him to start taking boxing more serious.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's like EJ, I'm telling you, EJ was one of my favorite fighters. It was a time where I was looking at it. Bud was at 140. I was like, Bud, I got Bud, EJ, and Thurman. That was back when it was one-time Thurman, not sometime and no-time Thurman. And I was like, that's going to be the battle of supremacy is when EJ and Thurman finally fight. But they going to have trouble when Bud move up there. And like I said then, it happened, man. Bud come up here, it's trouble. It's blood in the water. And now they trying to find ways to not have this fight. Man, we need this fight for boxing.
Mm-hmm. We definitely need it for boxing. Two of the biggest names on the pound for pound list.
Yeah.
Over the time frame. Yeah, we need it. They've been on the pound for pound list together.
And this is going to be the fight, man. This is going to raise both of their legacies.
Especially Crawford's. Especially Crawford's, bro. I ain't gonna lie. 2-time undisputed, man. It's gonna raise him up, bro. It's gonna, it's only gonna compliment and dress up his freaking attire as he get ready to go to the Hall of Fame in the future, dog. That's all it is. 2-time undisputed, and then go to 154, and who knows? He pick up his 4th weight class up there, fourth division.
Yeah, man. He'll definitely get a belt. I don't know if he'll get undisputed because Charlo not gonna keep them belts. He gonna drop them belts like a hot potato.
Yeah, he said that on when he was
said he gonna get low.
Yeah,
he gonna get low like a stripper booty with hundreds on the floor. I'm trying to tell you, he gonna get real low.
low.
Facts.
Hey, you remember when he said if Spence want to fight for the belts, he'll vacate them, and if you really want them, he can go get them. That's what Jermell Charlo said about his stablemate, dog. That's selfish shit like that. He said if he really want the belts, he'll vacate, and he can go get them if he really want them. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let me ask you about this, man. What you think about Devin Haney being blacklisted? From the pound for pound. What do you think is the cause of that? Do you think it's I don't know. It can't be for a lack of performance. Well, why do you believe that he's being blacklisted?
My skin is black.
So you saying he's being blacklisted because he's black? Explain.
Because he's black, and not only because he's black, is because he's black and he want to be a boss. They're gonna cut you down at the knees every time you want to be a black boss. And he's the youngest. That's building a legacy right there. He's the youngest. And he got every belt. You never heard of that. You never heard of, he got every, as they said, he was an email champ. He got that. He was franchise champ. He got that. He got ring, WBO, WBA, the IBF. Like he got all of them. He got all of them. And he did it in a way where it was no question. You couldn't even cheat. If you cheated, you just make the fight almost even. You can't. So
why not blackball Crawford? Why not blackball Crawford?
Okay, they was. Why you think Bud haven't had the fights he needed?
I'm talking about on the pound for pound list
everywhere. But Bud kept going, just like Haney needs to do. Keep going. Keep knocking people out. Keep outboxing them. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep making your money. Stay strong. Keep staying focused. And you'll make it. You'll make your name. You gotta make it so they can't do nothing but praise you.
But what about Spence too? You got Terrence Crawford. You have Spence. Now you have Jermell Charlo, and then some lists you have Shakur Stevenson. Why not just keep the blacks off the list? Period. Why put?
Because they're the top in boxing. They try
and Errol Spence on there.
Because that's the way they're going to make it. So when EJ ducked Bud, okay, well, he can stay on the top. If they actually get the fight, then now they get to make money off of 2 pound for pounds on the list.
But I'm not getting what you're saying about Devin Haney so they can being black. Either way. But Sing, I'm not getting what you're saying about Haney though being black. That's why he ain't on the list. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's about him being a black boss. It's not just him being black.
Okay.
It's him because almost all the best fighters are black or Hispanic. And that's not me being racist, it's me being factual. If you look at the top list and all the champions and everybody on pound for pound, that's what they're considered.
But in a way, ain't no boss. Even though he's Asian, he ain't a boss. He ain't considered no boss. You know what I'm saying?
He's on the list.
But I'm just saying, like, in a way, in a way that you want to talk about minorities. Okay, it's a lot of minorities that's on the pound for pound list. We can't say because it's not, you know, the whole slew of, you know, Nigerian, freaking Ethiopians, and all these other that's in boxing. They haven't made it up there yet, like mixed martial arts. But I'm saying in general, you know, just for the Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, they haven't. What would have them? Because I'm pretty sure some of the same people that's voting on the pound for pound list has been there for years upon years. Why wouldn't they present them? You trying to say that Errol Spence is a boss over who? What's he?
No, I'm saying that
he's a
he's
boss.
not.
So he's not a boss, and you're saying Terrence Crawford isn't a boss, but yeah, he has some of the highest guarantee. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying that he doesn't. He's not. It's not Terrence Crawford Promotions, and he's not starting.
All these cats got their own promotion, bro. All these cats.
What I'm saying is this: it's not Terrence Crawford Promotions at the age of 20 something, being undisputed.
True.
So if he starts off too good now and he stays that way, you have no choice but to make him the top. You have no choice. So if you catch them when they're young, the same way they kind of hated on Floyd. Floyd was a nice guy. I'm not saying I'm saying that was his persona. He was a nice guy. He always wanted people to love him and like him and everything else. He realized he would never be that person and he would never get the recognition he could. So what he said, they're going to hate me anyway. Let me use my business mind and give them a reason to hate me and make money off of it.
I don't see DHP. I don't see DHP as being this promotion company that's making strides in the sport of boxing, because there's so many people that have promotion companies in the sport of boxing. I mean, a lot of people for business purposes and all that, they have a promotion company attached to their name. And some of them are, you know, promotion with an LLC and all this other stuff. But for Devin Haney, I think it's just much deeper than what you mentioned about him being black. Real talk. I just think it has to do with an affiliation to something. I don't know why they would just take all this effort when Devin Haney went through the struggle. You know what I'm saying? He was behind the roster. He had to come from behind, you know, from a fighter whose belt has been called a pride champion. And for him to finally get the shot with a low ball contractual agreement, it's a lot of punishment that was dealt out during his process to get where he needed to be in Australia to win those freaking titles. And then he wins the titles, right? Lopsided, fair and square. And Bill made it to Australia late. He was still able to get it done. And they're going to keep him off the pound for pound list all because he's black. I don't get it. That don't make any sense to me, man.
Well, I mean, you look at it when
help me understand, man. I'm not.
When a black man stands up and says, "Ain't no white boy ever gonna beat me."
Okay. Now, okay. I got you.
You can't say, even though that could be the truth.
I thought he was forgiven for that, though.
He won't forgive him for that. They just say, okay, well, we ain't gonna step on your neck. We still gonna kick you in the butt. Think about it. Look at the offer he had to take just to be able to get the fight, and they thought he was gonna lose. Even still, that's why they took the fight.
I get what you're saying. You know, when I have these conversations, because we're not debating, I just don't like putting stuff out there, you know, front loading it.
Yeah, without no
I like to have a dialogue. So since you brought it up, they can't say I'm being a Devin Haney hater or anything. That's not the case. I wasn't gonna bring up the white boy. I never lose to a white boy because I was the one that was swinging the hammer on that. I say, God damn, dude, if there's anything that you shouldn't have said, it was that. Because like you just said, they're never gonna forget it. But they can't hold him. They can't hold him outside of the pound for pound list forever because he said he'll never lose to a white boy. You know what I'm saying? They can't hold him forever, dog.
Yeah, it's just a thing. That's why I said he just keep doing what he's doing. Keep training, keep boxing.
But he vacated the ring there, senior. He vacated the title, dog. That to me, I'm on both sides on that, bro. Like
I don't know. I
that
think
was
it was
gonna
a
be my next
strategic.
question.
That was a
That was gonna be
strategic
my
move,
next
though.
question for you. Do you think he should have vacated as a black fighter, as a black man in the sport, known as he is? Do you think he should have reacted the way he did and vacated his ring?
Well, I'll tell you this: if he was going to vacate any title, that would be the one.
I know, I get it, but
because what does it hurt him? He's still the champion, and him saying he vacated it really does not stop him from having that belt. They can't give it to nobody else. He got all the other belts.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but understand what you mentioned. You said that it was because he's a black. And one thing about black people, that we get chastised for is reacting to what they consider provocation from white people. They say, "Oh, you've been living long enough. You're not supposed to react like that." Well, guess what? They didn't put him on the pound for pound list, and once again, people are gonna say that the results are exactly what they wanted them to be. They wanted Devin to pretty much fragment what he had earned. He earned those titles, pretty much fragment them and get off the title. So he said, okay, cool. And what they say, yeah, send it to us in the mail. Somebody over there is pissed, bro.
I definitely tell you this, that the vitriol that they have for him is seeping out. It's because they never would have told nobody else that oh, well, send us the belt back.
I can't disagree, man. I can't disagree with you on that. I'm just, we just trying to figure it out, because one thing they say, hey, be a smart thinker. Just because a white person did something to you and you didn't like it, process it first. Sometimes they say turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? All that servility type mentality. But in this case, he's on a much more higher level. People know him. He's finally been able to reach that pinnacle where he got a chance to fight for all the titles. Teofimo never wanted to give him the shot, but he was able to get the title shot with Kambosos, who defeated T.O. Now, we're trying to put together the pieces on why they're keeping him off the list. You know what I'm saying? Because is it because he say he'll never lose to a white boy? Or is it his father? Is it, like you said, that it's DHP Promotions? Because I don't see DHP Promotions as being this influential promotion company just because Devin name is. I don't see it as that. Not yet.
Well, it's always
later on in boxing, though. Huh?
It's always follow the money. Everything is money motivated. Most quote unquote racism is money motivated. So you have to understand it's money motivated as well. Also, you got to look at the situation as this: is they're trying to enforce the Lomachenko fight. And if he doesn't fight Lomachenko, they need to be able to bring Lomachenko back into, the namesake and back to his glory after just getting beat, like a rag doll.
Mm-hmm.
They got to bring his name back up. So the only way to play off of that is by upsetting and degrading, Devin Haney. Because Devin Haney is his top number one problem. Who else is going to beat him? Now, obviously, we have an argument of saying that Gervonta Davis can beat him now that he's being more healthy and he's taking boxing more serious. But at the same token, we'll go into the same arguments that we have for EJ. The fact that he used to, turn up and act the fool, that is still in his body. It takes time to get that out of you. And it still has made a toll, no matter how much you get it out of you, if you did it for so many years, which he's done. So with him understanding that and studying Davis, the real problem for him is Haney. The next problem coming for him is Shakur Stevenson, but he got a couple minutes until he got to wait about those Shakur problems. So Haney is his problem. any way to get them out the way. What what your boy say? Art of war. Make them believe.
Yeah, the art of deception.
So you got to make them believe that he
was a pound over, a 0.5 over, or whatever.
Yeah, you got to make them believe that he's not that good. So,
but we know that Devin Haney is good. We know that he's a top caliber boxer. The whole my point is, like, he's still going to go down in the 4-belt era as being undisputed, regardless he's on the pound for pound or not. You don't get paid extra for being on the pound for pound. It would be good if they did, but that's not the case. So since he's not really receiving any type of award except visual recognition, paperwork, why would he vacate? You know, like, I understand him proving a point, and I did a live on this. I said to myself, I felt that he was in his right to vacate the ring if they didn't want to acknowledge him. But I don't know how long he has left outside of going in there fighting Kambosos again. I don't know how long he has remaining in the lightweight division. If he goes in there and defeat Kambosos again, and they don't put him on the pound for pound list, he shouldn't try to prove anything else. He should just say, okay, if I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna fight this fight, and then, or else I'm gonna move up, vacate, move up to 140. He shouldn't try to prove anything else. He go in here and watch Kambosos a second time. He should damn well be on the pound for pound list. He's defended his titles already. You know what I'm saying? He would have defended his titles in the same place where he won them. You know, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, I just think that it was a good way to prove your point and to also get the steam off, because it's a lot. They've really been kind of doing him dirty. He had to take a really bad deal just to get the chance to be great, to fight for greatness. And they was dragging him along the long way. And, pause. But it's really messed up situation he had to go through, but he came through it. And like I said, he just needs to stay focused, keep doing what he's doing, and stay training, stay motivated, and just keep being Devin the Dream Haney. And then, every time he knocked another one of them out, every time they raise his hand over him, he just screamed, "It was all a dream." And that's,
man, he got to do something to lighten the mood. He has to do something to lighten the mood, bro.
Yeah, turn up like he used to. He used to dance and stuff. Turn up. He used to dance.
It'd be good if you get a personality. That would be even better, man. The only time Devin really, turns the volume up is when he run into one of his ops. The most we ever heard him really turn up and start talking, him and Tiafimo. They used to go back and forth all the time and say what they had. That would have been great if they would have somehow developed a rivalry. It was good, man. It was good at their careers. At that time in their career, it would have been good if they could have ignited a rivalry between one another, at the lightweight division. But it didn't happen. Teal decided to go with his mandatory, lost, moved up to 140. Now Devin Haney, he's the man at lightweight, and still he can't get the respect. You know what I'm saying? Still he can't get the respect. I don't even think he's getting respect from the fan. What now?
You gotta do twice as much to get half the credit.
Yeah, man. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
That's unfortunate.
But they making a name for themselves, and that's what you need to keep doing. Keep staying focused, keep staying hungry, and keep doing what he needs to do. And like I said, shoot, get happy again, get happy. And that's all you got to do. Just keep winning. That's it. The change with change is a changeless state. In the words of Bruce Lee.
I hope they're able to change it, man. Because sponsor-wise, they should have more sponsors too. I'm saying it'd be good if they can get more sponsors, legitimate sponsors, and start, tapping into the mainstream outside of boxing, like Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia hasn't came close to achieving what Haney's been able to achieve, but he's on the mainstream. He's making commercials with Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a movie. I don't know if he's already finished that up. Did a movie that's supposed to be coming out sometime. You got to tap into the mainstream, man. And it'll be good if these fighters can do it while they're fighting, but that takes time. You know what I'm saying? That takes time. Most of the time when a fighter goes over and start filming, they take a L. Because they busy over there in Hollywood playing around and doing what they're doing. But it is what it is, man. I wish them nothing but the best. It's a tough road for Haney because they're not really recognizing his feat. He fought in somebody else's backyard for undisputed. You know what I'm saying? And that was a huge task. He was able to get it done. And I wasn't, I haven't really been trying to underline the never lose to a white boy situation because they always saying we want to play the race card all the time. I was just letting that die down a little bit. I didn't think people was really still heard about that shit. Didn't he apologize for it?
Yeah, he apologized, but they don't care nothing about the apology. They don't care nothing about that.
I think people still care somewhat. I mean, if it's 5%, it's still okay. He apologized. Okay.
No, the ones that's trying to stick it to him don't care because they're never going to forget it. They're always going to remember. They're always going to remember. So what you do is you make them remember every night they played the Titans in my Denzel Washington voice.
Yeah, he's going to have to do it, man. He's going to have to go over here and defend his belts. And then I'm not sure where he's going to go from there.
I would tell him, I would say his next 2 fights, unless he goes up, would definitely be, Ryan Garcia is trying to go up. But he need to get that. Go ahead and wipe out Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the way Devin looked over there with Kambosos, man, I have him beating Lomachenko, man.
Yeah. Go ahead and get that Lomachenko work. Go ahead and put another L on his docket real quick. And then go ahead and try to get that Ryan fight. That's going to open him up to a broader base, and that's going to give him the fame that he wants, good and bad. He's going to get a lot of haters for beating Ryan Garcia, and he's going to get a lot of fans because people think that Ryan is, one of the greatest, even though he ain't fought nobody.
You talking about Ryan at 140?
Yeah, if he goes up.
He's up here proclaiming that he's unable to make 135. So that would definitely have to force Devin or influence him to move up to 140 if he want that. That's so far down the road, though. That's just so far down the road.
Yeah,
because he does have Lomachenko.
Get the Ryan fight. Those are his 2 best, for next. And then if Tank Davis want that smoke, then put the as people call them, put the old Mayweather against the new Mayweather. That's what they say. They compare Tank to Pretty Boy, and they compare Haney to the Money May.
Who do you think has a better boxing style, Gervonta or Shakur Stevenson?
Shakur.
Yeah, I do too.
Shakur. I mean, he showed it in the ring with him.
Yeah, I do too, man. Shakur Stevenson, different type of boxer, man.
He's a monster. But guess who been helping him get sharper?
Jared Anderson? Who?
Bud Crawford.
Oh yeah, that's been going on. I thought you were talking about somebody new though. Did you see Jared Anderson working out with him though, holding mitts for him?
Yeah, and guess who's helping Haney get better? Who went and say, all right, well, let's get this snack going. Ran up there and ripped a little snack with Haney, wrestled him and beat up his bodyguard and everything.
Crawford, yep.
Bud Crawford. Wait, is Bud helping the new wave to come in? So that means he gotta be sharp. if the undisputed, the super undisputed, the Dream Haney was up there getting notes from Crawford, and your boy Shakur Stevenson is getting notes from Crawford, man,
I put more weight on Shakur Stevenson, who's been around Crawford longer than Haney, because Haney, if you know him and his Bill has always traveled from gym to gym. They always got, they was down at Roy's at one time getting, helpful hints from him. They always picked up tips and trained with different people.
And that's why I say Haney is the wave, man, and he needs to keep doing his thing. Just like Shakur said, they always a couple, they're like a weight class away from each other, usually always. But they the ones, man. They need to keep doing their thing, even if they lose to each other. I don't see nobody else really beating them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the move, man. That's the move. I just had to throw up my shameless bud plug right there. Pause. They'll take that and run with it. They'll turn into some alphabet. They can't wait.
No, that's good shit, man. I'm glad people are getting more tuned to Bud being a teacher. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to be very influential when he gets out of the sport and teaching and training. I'm not saying he's going to be in there holding mitts and doing what Bomac is doing. I ain't saying that. I believe when he has more time to dedicate to these young fighters and fighters that's in the sport, I think more people are going to be coming to him for assistance like they are now. You know what I'm saying? And Shakur Stevenson, you can see his all around skill set, man. Like, he's been soaking it all in with Bud. I mean, his approach to breaking down a fighter, man, is very methodical. Very, very methodical, man. To take as less punishment as possible. That's Shakur Stevenson. And still break your ass down. That's how he do it, man. He want to walk up out of here and be able to carry conversation on like he was never a boxer.
Yeah, and so he makes it look good too.
Yeah, and look good doing it, man.
He looks good. Look like it's easy work. He made everything look like
easy work. Easy work, man. Easy work. Yeah, he's something to watch, man. Real talk. He's definitely a fighter to watch. Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Haney, Javante, yeah. You know what I'm saying? We need some black matchups to be big too.
Yeah.
I just hope they're not reciprocated like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. It's a shame the way this fight is taking so long and people don't want to invest their money into these guys fighting, man.
Well, I think like right now, the fighters got to get behind each other and really push it, because that's how Ali and them was able to make those big fights when they were getting tied up and everything else. They got together and said, I don't want to fight nobody but him. I don't want to fight if it's not him or this other dude, I don't want to fight nobody. I don't want to fight nobody but him, or I don't want to fight nobody but just him solely. And they went on and had to make the fight. And that's what you got to do, is be able to stand up and let them know that, hey, you making money off of me. If I don't fight, yeah, you might have some stupid fighter in there, but they're not going to do it like me.
Yeah. Well, that's what's up, bro. I appreciate you pulling up as always. Those of you that tuned in to the chat, man. I got to bounce, of course. But man, you already know we shall do this again. It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for dropping your input, on the topic and everything. And we're gonna continue to stay close to this situation. And hopefully we get an official announcement sometime or another, because this month right here, they're saying it's about to be over, bro. We don't, it's August 28th, bro. We about to be past August into September, man.
Yeah, man. Tuesday, we about to. It seems like we're gonna have the C-section, so we about to have the baby Tuesday.
Let's see if the birth is possible. Let's see, dog.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we have you know what I'm saying, the fight be born and my son be born at the same time, it'll be awesome.
Oh, you talking about you? You about to have a kid? Okay,
Yeah.
congrats, bro.
But no,
I
I'm
didn't know that.
saying it'll be nice if the fight born and my son born at the same time. That'd be amazing, man.
Yeah, for sure. Real talk. That's what's up, man. Congratulations. Which one is this for you, man? Your first, your third, second, third?
No, it's my second boy.
Okay.
I got a handful now.
Yeah, I had 3 boys myself, man. I understand. I never had girls at all. You know, so yeah, I get where you're coming from for that, man. Congratulations once again. You know what I'm saying? Anything you want to say to your supporters out there, man?
Man, well, give me about a week or so, you know, baby about to be born. But after that, I'm gonna be dropping a bunch of content. Check me out at Cooking with Sir Senior. I'm always cooking something, if it's home cooking or it's food for thought. And always you'll see me here repping my number one guy, Scotty, man. World Combat Sports. He gonna drop the knowledge for you. And the dude is great with photography. He knows his boxing. Man, come by, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel.
I appreciate that, bro. Thanks for looking out with the kind words as always. Real talk, brother to brother. And man, y'all in the chat, man. Thanks and salute to everyone that pulled up. We shall do it again. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports, man. I'm out.